Hi, I'm Orgone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be making something new and exciting. I have a glow-in-the-dark pyramid. From top to bottom it glows in the dark, all except for the metals, but still it's pretty special. And I even have an Eye of Horus emblem on here in the negative space. So what that means is when this is glowing, the glow light will come through the open spaces and light up that eye and in ostensibly your design. If I had put a regular sticker on here and it would glow, you would see the silhouette of the sticker. This way we're illuminating that space and coloring in what we want to be seeing. So anyway, if you would like to improve upon your nightscape or create a little mood lighting in your place, then come and join me as we make this. We're going to get started right now. All right, let's get started. So this is, for me, an unprecedented pyramid. It is a glow-in-the-dark pyramid, and I've been collecting the items that I'm going to need for this for quite a while now, and I finally have all of my items in that I'm going to use for this pyramid. So I just want to show you what I have before I bring out the pyramid mold. So I got these glow-in-the-dark stones in 3 different colors. They're stones, they just have glow-in-the-dark stuff added to them, and they will fit into what I'm doing, which Orgonite is made up of conductive and non-conductive elements alternatingly, and we can achieve that with the stuff that I have here. I will be putting metal in between some of these layers to give it that, that conductive vibe. And I have this great crystal, which I have wire wrapped in copper wire. And I have this great little light here that helps me show you that this is glow in the dark. I don't know if you can see that kind of luminesce there, but this light brings it out and shows you, without having to be completely dark, that this is a glow-in-the-dark piece. So we have that, and I have this glow-in-the-dark glitter. I love this light and how it starts to excite the color in the stuff. Like this glitter is already glowing. So that glows green. And then I got this stuff. It's white powder, but it glows purple. Although I'm having a hard time getting it to show up. I did get it to show up earlier. You can kind of see that faint purple. So I've got 2 fine powders, one green and one purple, and I'll probably do a layer of each. And I got a little sample bit of green in the mail with it. And I will be using my metals, which I haven't decided exactly which metal is going to go where. I have copper BBs, zinc BBs, brass shavings, and steel shavings. And I'll decide what of those is going to go where. So now that we've seen, I have one more. This is glow-in-the-dark gravel. There's one piece that just really wants to glow. You can kind of see it a little bit. Anyway, this glows green. So I'm glad that I got these other stones of the different colors to kind of break up the theme of the glow-in-the-dark green. I want it to have other colors in it, so we're going to go ahead and use those. And yeah, so it's time for us to get started. I'm going to go ahead and move some of this stuff aside and bring out our pyramid mold, and we're going to just jump right on in. So this is our pyramid mold. It's got a hard plastic housing with a silicone insert, which is great for, it's nice and hard, so it gives you the form that you need for your pyramid, and it gives you the ease of unmolding the piece with the silicone insert, which I just love this pyramid mold. Anyway, so we're going to get started by adding our crystal here. And just before I started the video, I dropped it, so the coil around the pyramid has gotten kind of wonky, but I think it'll work. So let's make this first bit clear. I'm not going to add any glow-in-the-dark powder just yet because I want the glow-in-the-dark crystal to take center stage at the apex. And I'm using polyester-casting-resin, which comes in a big gallon jug. It's hard to pour small amounts from. So I pour mine into this jar and use it from this jar, only it drips on the outside and it gets sticky and dirty on the outside. But I assure you that the resin is nice and clean and perfect for use on the inside. So yeah, we're just gonna pour an ounce of resin to get us started. And I'm gonna pour that in my mixing cup. And I'm not sure how many drops of hardener that is suggested to be used with each ounce of resin. All I can remember is that when I used the recommended amount, I needed a lot more. So I use 9 drops to start and 9 drops for every ounce thereafter. I'm using 1 ounce, so I'm going to use 18 drops of hardener. It's totally fine if you want to use epoxy resin to make this pyramid. It's just going to take you longer is all, but it's perfectly doable. I like to use polyester casting resin because it cures faster with hardly any bubbles, and it just does right by me, and I really appreciate how it works. I mean, for me, I'm not knocking epoxy resin. For me, it has a time and a place. Just not really in my pyramids, because if I used epoxy resin to make my pyramids, it would be like 3 and 4 days long to make them. But with polyester casting resin, I can make a pyramid in a day, easy. All the layers included. Okay, so I'm just going to pour that straight on into my mold. And let's see. Perfect. So I'm just going to let this congeal, which takes about 45 minutes with the amount of hardener that I've used. And I'm going to add next a layer of some of the powder and resin. So we're just going to make kind of a, oh, I don't know what you would call it. It's going to be kind of like a speckly, sprinkled layer of resin instead of full gemstones. Anyway, I've never done it before, but I have the idea in my mind, and I hope that it will turn out like I think it will, or maybe even better. We'll have to see. Okay, so it's time to add our next layer, which is going to be our glow-in-the-dark powder. I'm gonna do about 3/4 of an ounce. Pour it in my mixing cup. Sprinkle my powder into the resin. I may need more, we'll see. Actually, I think that might be a perfect amount. It's got kind of a milky look to it, and it's more opaque than I had imagined it would be. Perfect amount. But yeah, it's completely milky and opaque, different than I had pictured, but it'll still work and look pretty in the dark. Okay, so I've decided to do a layer of BBs. I haven't decided whether I want to use copper or zinc. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use copper BBs for this layer. I'm going to pour the BBs first, and then I'm going to do the resin. I didn't need the whole amount of resin, and I don't want to pour any more. I just want to cover the BBs. Okay, so I'm ready to use my glow-in-the-dark gravel for this layer. So I'm going to go ahead and pour some of the resin in first before the gravel. That way I don't trap any bubbles underneath it. So this is my glow-in-the-dark gravel. Even though these aren't like actual gemstones that everybody knows, they still will work for Orgonite, because Orgonite is alternating layers of conductive and non-conductive materials, and this will work. We're still using metals, and this is our non-conductive. The original Orgonite was made with fiberglass and steel wool. So and crystals weren't even introduced to Orgonite until 1999 or 2000. So this will definitely work. It's just not as typical as the Orgonite that you see normally. And you know, this is something that I've not seen anybody do. I'm not saying that nobody's done it before. I'm just saying I haven't seen it before. And so I wanted to bring something new and fresh to my channel and show you guys what could be done with glow-in-the-dark stuff. I think this is going to make a really cool pyramid, and I can't wait for it to be finished. So anyway, I am going to let this harden, and I'll be back in the morning to do another layer of metal. Okay, I've decided to do one last layer before I go to bed. I've decided to do steel shavings in this layer. I've noticed lately, I've just recently started using steel shavings, and what I've noticed when I've put them in the pieces is that it has like a dark element. It's not a shiny silver. It's not a shiny light color at all. It's a dark, like a gunmetal kind of dark. And I thought, since I'm having so many very light layers, you know, this light white, light green, I thought the steel could actually give it some depth and improve upon the aesthetics. So I'm gonna just pour some resin here, and we'll get the steel shavings added. I like it. It's giving this piece some depth. Perfect amount of shavings, perfect amount of resin. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this to harden overnight, and I'll be back to do one of our colored glow-in-the-dark gemstones. Okay, so it's time to add our gemstones. I want to add slightly a bit more resin. Okay, so I have decided to do a layer of zinc BBs. These guys. Perfect. So I'm just going to let this congeal. Okay, so we are going to do our blue glowstones. You know what? I'm thinking of adding this with these just to give it some kind of extra little oomph. I'm going to go ahead and mix them up in my resin. That'll really look neat in the light. Okay, so we're just gonna let this harden, and I'll be back maybe to do another layer of metal. I'm not sure. This is, if I do make another layer, I have to do another layer after that. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't decided. So when I come back, I'll let you know what I have decided. Okay, so I've decided I am going to add some brass to this piece. Okay, so it's time to demold our pyramid. Cool. I didn't think I'd like that opaque part, but I think it's going to be really cool, especially when the lights are out. And it's got a nice look with the lights on and it not being glow in the dark. So that was one of my worries that I had, was that it wouldn't look good in the daytime, and it does. It totally does. It's got the glow in the dark crystal. This white part is going to be purple. We've got our copper BBs, our glow in the dark gravel, which is going to be green. Then our steel shavings, our pink glow in the dark stones, zinc BBs, blue green glow-in-the-dark stones, and brass shavings. So we've got a pretty big pyramid here. And so now what needs to happen is I need to sand the edges. It's sharp and rough. So so it needs to be sanded. I use emery boards to do my sanding. I get a lot more control out of these than I do sandpaper. But if sandpaper is all you have, feel free to use that. That's going to be just fine. And then I have the feet. The feet are cabinet dampening bumpers, which are 1/2-inch little rubber circles that go on the corners of the bottom. Now that I can go ahead and put on now, so I'm going to do this now. So all it needs is just the edges sanded or filed, however you want to look at it. And so now it's got its feet and it looks great. I'm so excited about this glow-in-the-dark pyramid. So I almost forgot about adding an emblem or my hologram stickers. And for this pyramid, since it is a light source of its own, I thought it would be great. Well, okay, I have a lamp, and the sticker that I put on there is basically blocking out the light. So you're just seeing a shadow, not a shadow, but a silhouette of the image. And so for this pyramid, I picked out this sticker, which is the Eye of Horus, and the eye is in the negative space. So if I put this on the pyramid, the light is going to come through that negative space and illuminate what we want to be seen. So this is like almost the only or the best idea out of all of my stickers that I have. This one is going to be the best one for this type of pyramid or for a lamp pyramid. So anyway, I am gonna go ahead and put this on, and any of you who are interested in the type of hologram stickers that I use, I will leave a link in the description box to where I get them. I get them on Etsy from a guy named Dean Bonzani, who has an Etsy store called Synchronicity, and he has sacred geometry pieces, he has aliens, he has neat sayings or words. He's got all kinds of neat things in these prismatic material. And if you go there with an intention of finding something specific and you don't find it, reach out to Dean. He will be happy to make a custom piece for you. So I just stuck this on there, and then in order to get it isolated, you have to unpeel this this top sticker off, which will leave behind just the hologram sticker. And there we go. So we have the Eye of Horus, and hopefully it does cross the band of steel shavings right about here, and so there might be the whole thing might not light up equally, but hopefully there will be enough light that it will come through and show that it is indeed the Eye of Horus. So anyway, I'm so stoked about this, and I can't believe that I almost left off the sticker or emblem, but I think it looks great, and I think that it looks even better with the sticker on there. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a big thumbs up. I totally appreciate it when you do that. and subscribe to my channel for more Orgonite ideas. And don't forget to hit the notification bell if you want to be made aware when new projects come out. I'm Orgonite, and thank you for joining me in my Orgonite studio. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the day.